cars. Driver Carrington gets dumped by Panorama. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out. Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula 3 iRacing League. Tonight, we're at Mount Panorama Circuit, also known as Bathurst, where it is going to be an absolute wild night tonight. A 20-lap feature event, a 10-lap sprint event, and a whole lot of potential carnage around the Australian mountainside. As always, on behalf of LeagueZero.net as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name is James East, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second. As right now we are waiting for qualifying to come to an end. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens out on track tonight. Judging from practice, a lot of the guys having a very rough go of it. I mean, we're going around a mountainside, almost 4-mile track configuration, and a lot of tight, narrow raceway through the mountainside, through Skyline and the Dipper. It's going to be interesting to see what happens out on track. As right now we do have a poll up for our YouTube viewers. Will we see the iRacing safety car come out tonight? Or are we going to see some good, clean racing? It will be decided here today, as the points are still kind of interesting as well. It's Soto on top, and Aguilar is 47 points behind. If Aguilar can win both races, qualify on pole, and get the fastest lap, he can be the champion. Let's take it through tonight's grid. Starting on pole, Josh Green, Raymond Aguilar starting second, Brandon Dwan starting third, Nick Peterson starting fourth, Brad Tritton starting fifth, Hunter Graves starting sixth, John Kasai starting seventh, Antonio Bianchi starting eighth, Ryan Tebow starting ninth, Peter Rettinger starting 10th, Jerry Ziegler will be 11th on the grid, Flo Dom starting 12th on the circuit. We've got Varun Patel starting 13th, Danilo Sparapani starting 14th, Chase Small 15th on the grid, Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, racing at his home track, he'll be 16th, Bruno Fajeda starting 17th, Dustin Oberlo 18th, Gustavo Gravina starting 19th, Anthony Asianati starting 20th, Michael Fairchild starting 21st, Norman King starting 22nd, Simon Fellows starting 23rd, and that will round out our grid here today. And let's get ready to go racing, ladies and gentlemen, as it is Josh Green, the Indy Pro driver, starting on pole, the number 22 machine. Still waiting for Ryan Tebow, Varun Patel, Chase Small, Asianati, King, and Fellows to make their way out onto the grid before we start this 45-minute tops or 20-lap feature event to get going. We got a lot of love from the fans already. Gardner saying one can't simply F3 on Mount Panorama without a safety car. Nada cheering on Sparapani, Fajeda, and Gravina. Tyler Watts cheering on Gareth McAllister. Joseph Penn saying this is the mountain of death. He's predicting 2 safety cars coming out here tonight. And for our Brazilian friends tonight, Boa noche, Foista Corrida. That's my best rendition of Good Evening Race fans. Patel and Tebow appear to be starting from the pits. We're going to get ready to light the lights here at Bathurst, and away they go. Several drivers starting from the pits. Tebow, Patel, Small, Fellows unable to make the grid, but we're going to send them off early into turn 1 and see if we can get through without any major problems here today. An absolute massive field here, but what we're all waiting to see with bated breath is what happens on top of the mountain here in Mount Panorama. Just one single incident, and it will be heartbreak and carnage for all. Aguilar takes the lead. The lead goes back and forth as the field comes careening by. Green takes over the lead once more as they head up the hillside. So far, so good for our drivers, but again, just one single mistake is all it takes. Eric Green saying a full send. Tyler Watt saying no safety cars here today. As so far the field's getting through without too many issues. It's Green, Aguilar, Dwan, Tritton, and Peterson, your top 5. Now not expecting many big overtakes to happen here up on the hillside. It's going to be coming back down the hill where you'll see drivers try and make moves and really work that draft, as the elevation is just absolutely insane out here today. Green gets a great advantage. He's 1.4 seconds ahead of Aguilar. And are we going to get through the pack here? We pan the camera back to 9th place, Peter Redinger. Looks like everybody's getting through down the hillside relatively unscathed. And no, we've spoke too soon. One of the Brazilians goes for a ride. Gustavo Gravina involved in an incident. Chase Small also shows involved in that one. Small has returned back to pit road. Let's take a quick look, see what happened to our drivers. Oh, just too much inside wall. Puts him on the outside, and let's see where Small gets involved in this. He was tagged as well, so already the mountain is claiming some victims. Bianchi also has an off track, as well as John Kasai. Up front, it's still Josh Green, Raymond Aguilar. As you're watching the battle for 8th unfold between Jared Ziegler and Antonio Bianchi, trying to pick up some spots, also chasing Redinger in the all-black number 44 machine. King has an off track as well. But we're not seeing a crash report for the number 28 quite yet, so it looks like he may be waiting for the drivers to get back going in the right direction. Gravina involved in another incident. As Bianchi and Ziegler go side by side, Dom's trying to catch up number 31 machine to work his way further inside the top 10. Now again, this is the feature event, 20 laps. And then we go into the sprint race of the night, where it'll be a 10-lap mad dash with an inverted top 10 grid. Small and King make their way back into pit road. As you're watching the absolute heated battle for, about to be a 3-car battle for 7th, just ahead of Bianchi, who the camera's focused on is Peter Redinger. And right behind Bianchi, the number 57 machine, Jared Ziegler. I'll be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a little astounded that we've had it so clean so far. We had one crash on the mountain in our opening lap. Other than that, I think all the drivers are being very safe. But right as I say that, Sparapani involves in an incident. I think that may have been Fajeda got tagged as well. Let's pull that up. As no, is that Oberlo? Oh, Berlo may have been involved. So you're watching Sparapani in the number 9 machine. Just sends it sliding around. And Oberlo was involved in another incident as well. Comes down the hill, sees carnage in front of him, locks it up, and just pushes it slightly off track and takes a tow. But we've got more carnage across the surface. I believe Flo Dom's involved in a big incident, able to dive back down pit road. Going back up front, 4th place, Brad Tritt, number 26 machine. He's about 3.8 seconds back from Brandon Dewan, and he has no room between himself and Nick Peterson. We've got Marshall Newton asking for updates on Norman King. He's a huge fan of number 28 machine. King has returned to pit road on his own power to try and get that car bent back into the right direction after a little bit of early carnage. Now I'm a little perplexed. I mean, it hasn't been the bloodbath that we were expecting on the mountainside early on tonight, and normally driver attrition really plays a role for these guys. So it's going to be interesting to see how worse things can get for everybody out on track as the laps click off here. Now this will be a one-stop scheduled race, barring any problems on the mountainside, as you're watching Tritton in the 4th place, number 26 machine. Oh, sounded like a little bit of contact behind him. Looks like Gray was able to get through fine. Bianchi does as well. Up front, Green, you're still your race leader with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:59.25 with full race trim. As we pan the camera back to your race leader, Josh Green, he's got about a 4.5 second gap over Raymond Aguilar. Chase Small comes out of the pits after 2 minutes and 40 seconds getting some repairs done. As we pan back to Brad Trenton and Hunter Graves. No, it's Peterson. Peterson makes the overtake on Trenton. Oberlo gets involved in an incident as well, the number 42 machine. And Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, in the number 25 machine. He's our hard charger, up 7 positions here today, working his way into 9th. If he can just finish strong and avoid the carnage, he'll be looking well to have a great starting position for the sprint race of the night. As always, McAllister family in Australia tune in, supporting the young Aussie driver. Great to see them, as well as all of our other fans from across the world. We couldn't do this show without you guys, and it's very much appreciated. Jared Ziegler comes down pit road, so it looks like it's about 16 drivers still out on track. 15 drivers, with some drivers having to take an early pit stop here today. Antonio Bianchi, Hunter Graves putting on a show side by side up the mountainside. That's never a good start, as it looks like Graves will yield the position to the number 17 machine. Chase Small looks like he's involved in an incident. Take a quick look and see what happened to Small. He takes a tow back to pit road. Almost sounded like the magic got let out of that engine, and he careens it down at the bottom of the dip. Takes the tow back to pit road. He will retire for the evening. Crawford cheering on Josh Green, saying faster, faster to the professional race car driver. So current hardest battle on track is right here from about 4th place back. It's Trenton, Peterson, Bianchi, Graves, all in the mix. Rettinger in the all-black 44 machine. He is trying to catch up to the field and see if he can interject himself into the party. Here goes Graves side by side with Bianchi once more. Now this is where we're going to see most of the passes done here today. It's a lot safer on the GP portion to try and make those moves. Your race leader Green puts out another fastest lap of the race with a 1:58.13. He is hauling the mail here. Jenna Oberbench, she's cheering on good old B. Brad Trenton. Trenton currently 4th on track in that number 26 machine. He's getting chased by Nick Peterson. As we pan the camera over to Trenton, it's Trenton and Peterson nose to tail. Peterson's going to take a look on the inside line. Can he make it stick? And no, it will be Trenton able to hold on to it once more. Oh no, the world-famous Australian Gareth McAllister has wrecked the Team Goon Squad car. It is an absolute shambles here. What, oh my, happened to McAllister to find himself with that horrific damage on the front of that machine? Let's take a look in the instant replay. Oh, McAllister got punted. Tags the outside wall, then absolutely drills it once more and completely wrecks the machine. McAllister with a spectacular hit. He will return back. Asianati involved in an incident as well. He was 8th on track. Not quite sure where he ended up on the circuit. Oh, that is a dangerous place to be parked. Luckily, he's about 15 seconds. He's going to... Oh, here we go. Was that Fairchild? It was Fairchild Bindit trying to get around Asianati. This is the carnage we came to expect here at Bathurst. As there goes Oberlo, he's going to pick up a spot into 13th place. It is a bloodbath on the mountainside here at Bathurst. What a wild night, as it looks like about 7 or 8 drivers have retired. McAllister, Dom, Smarpani, Small, Gravina, King, Fellows, all back in pit road here today at the mountainside of Mount Panorama. As we've got about a 4, almost a 5-car battle for 4th as Trenton, Peterson, Bianchi, Graves, and Rettinger all in tow here. Just one single incident is all it takes to wad up these machines. And what's worse, not a lot of places to go for your competition if you find yourself parked perpendicular to the track. Trenton getting dangerously close to the wall there, number 26 machine, but trying to eke out as much speed as he possibly can as the top three are a little bit stretched out. Brandon Dewan starting to catch up to Raymond Aguilar. He's about a half second behind the second place driver of the number 83 machine. As you're on board with Nick Peterson, going down into the dip, he's trying to chase down Trenton here. These guys are really slowing down the pace to make the corner safely. As again, one single incident and you will very much be done for the race. Try and get a fresh car and a chance of redemption for the sprint. This is very much a night where you are driving the track and not necessarily your competition. Racing the track, I should say, is better put. Here comes Bianchi in the number 17 machine to try and get around Peterson. Peterson's going to make that number 24 machine nice and wide. As it'll be a drag race for 5th. Bianchi holding on to it, not wanting to push too hard, and involved himself with an incident with Peterson. Hunter Graves in the baby blue, number 37, is watching this battle unfold as well to see if there's going to be a spot for him to interject himself. Gustavo Gravina leaves pit road. And let's see who's going to be the gutsiest to make it too wide up the mountainside. Fajeda involved in an incident, as well as Gravina. We're dropping like flies here today. Gravina hard in the outside wall. Tries to get it spun back the right direction. That has allowed Trenton, Peterson, Bianchi, Graves to stretch it out just a little bit here. And now we've got a battle for second as well. Raymond Aguilar feeling the pressure from the number 96 of Brandon Dewan heading down the hillside. Such a tough circuit to make any moves. Arguably the toughest track we've been on all season long. Does not allow for a single error or lapse in judgment. As the lap times are about 2 minutes long here, it won't be long before lap traffic becomes a factor for your race leaders, and that will introduce a new level of excitement for all parties involved. Brandon Dewan takes a look at the inside line of Aguilar. Aguilar pinches him off ever so slightly, and Aguilar will hold on to it for a little while longer. He knows if he can make it up, starting up the mountainside, he can hold that position for at least another lap here, as I don't think any drivers will be daring enough, especially inside the top 5 or top 10, to try and make any advances up and down the hillside. Hunter Graves, number 37 machine, starts his green flag pit stop, coming in on lap 7 to take a little bit of fuel and get back out there. Maybe looking for some clean track as well. Fairchild parked in a bad spot here. Tries to get it going, does so properly. As we're saying, just one little mistake or you come around a hill and there's traffic in front of you, it will quickly spell disaster as you're on board with Brandon Dewan, number 96 machine, chasing Aguilar, second in points. Now Aguilar has second place all but locked up here coming into the season finale here at Bathurst. Brandon Dewan using every inch of the track, almost rubbing the sidewalls on the safety barriers, throwing it into the downhill, as you saw Raymond Aguilar really step out the back end there. Asianati comes back to pit road as well. He will be retired for the evening. And And is this going to be the overtake for second place? Brandon Juan throws it in deep. Aguilar goes slightly off track there. May have gotten a little bit much of a squeeze from Juan. Now both of these drivers are clicking off almost identical lap times. But it appears Juan will now be second place coming into tonight. Another great battle on track. Nick Peterson, Antonio Bianchi, and Brad Tritton, a three-way battle for fourth, nose to tail. Peter Rettinger is seventh on track, watching that battle. Oh, hold on to it, Bianchi, getting very, very close to the side of Peterson. Peterson holds on to the position. Bianchi is not done yet, trying to use that slipstream to slingshot himself away around the number 24 machine. Trenton watching the battle unfold in his rearview mirror and just being happy that he is not involved in it. Is this the side-by-side uphill action that all the fans are looking for? Is Bianchi and Peterson still side-by-side? Oh, boys, who will be the first to back out? They're still side-by-side on the mountainside here at Mount Panorama. There is a less than 1% chance this goes well for either drivers as Peterson takes over the position from Bianchi, but what a white-knuckle ride for both of these drivers. And this is only the battle for fifth, ladies and gentlemen. Peterson gets about a half second over Bianchi coming down the hill. That could be very much a case of both drivers trying to give each other a little bit of a break. Cannot believe those drivers made their way through. Aguilar, the number 83 machine, comes down pit road to start his pit cycle. Josh Green, Brandon Juan opting to stay out. As well as Bianchi, he's going to come down pit road as well. So what you may be seeing here is drivers that may feel they're running at a little bit faster pace than their competition in front of them, but opting to try and get off that same cycle so they can come back out of pit road with a little bit of clean track. Now, an average pit stop for these drivers so far has been about 30 seconds from the start cones to the exit cones on pit road. As let's see what Aguilar's time is going to be. No, it's going to be closer to 40 seconds for these drivers. I wonder if Aguilar maybe had a bit of a bobble as he was on that pit road for a long time. He's only in a stall for 6.7 seconds. Aguilar from cone to cone was 45 seconds. Bianchi was about 40 seconds, so a 5-second difference. Aguilar coming back out on track, getting around Varun Patel. Patel up 4 spots in the number 99 machine, having a great run so far here today. Really, for any of these drivers to be at this point at the halfway mark of tonight's race, truly an accomplishment in and of itself. As now Patel will try and get a tow and maybe follow the lines of Aguilar, who's been one of the fastest drivers all season long. Hunter Graves, he's back linked up with Bianchi. Bianchi coming out after lap 9 pit stop. Graves with a lap 7 pit stop. We'll find the two drivers battling for that very important 10th place spot. Now they still have about 4 or 5 drivers ahead of them in the standings that have not boxed yet. So that'll allow them to take some easy positions later on. As your race leader Green keep clicking off record-setting laps. His last time by a 157.85, but I believe it was a dirty lap as it does not reflect as the fastest lap of the day so far. No, Green's fastest lap is a 157.68. John Kasai has a moment. That'll allow Ryan Tebow to make, no, Kasai holds the position from Tebow as he also went off track. Gravina having a rough go, the number 81 machine, trying to find pit road as he watches the field make his way around. Let's keep an eye out, make sure he gets his safe rejoin. Is he going to go back out on track, or is he going to go back down pit road? He will opt to go back out on track and join the rest of the gladiators here at the League Zero Formula 3 Series. We pan the camera back to Bianchi and Graves. Graves looking for a way around, trying to set Bianchi up. Doesn't quite have the drive coming up the first few corners, charging up the hill. Such massive elevation change here at Bathurst. We've got another battle going on. Nick Peterson, Brad Tritton still battling for that third place final spot. The Magic tune in. I believe that may be Portuguese, which I unfortunately don't speak. Nada saying something about Gustavo. Again, I think that translates to having a rough go of it. Now Green clicks off another fast lap of the race at 1:57.66 as we got a battle for third between Nick Peterson and Brad Tritton side by side once more. Oh, they make contact! Peterson gets punted off the track. Tritton will hold on to the spot here. And he will try and get that car pointed back in the right direction. Just a racing incident between the number 26, Brad Tritton, and the number 24 of Peterson. So Tritton will hold on to third here, but will he have any damage as now comes the fast Austrian, Peter Rettinger. Rettinger up 6 spots in that all-black number 44 machine. As the top 5 drivers still waiting to start their pit cycles here today. Eight laps left to go for our competition. You're watching the now battle for third. Brad Tritton, Peter Rettinger linked up nose to tail. Fairchild involved in another incident. He goes back to pit road. John Kasai makes his way out of the pits as well. Now we're watching Rettinger, the number 44 machine, try and chase down Tritton in the 26. Now Rettinger's a very, very smart driver. He's not going to put himself in any needless risk here, as they are about 35 seconds behind your race leader, Josh Green, who is still hot lapping out front, really hasn't backed down the pace at all. If anything, he's gotten faster over the course of the run. Let's see if Rettinger's going to make a move, or if he's going to try and maybe pull off a pit strategy here to try and get around Tritton. Both drivers have not pitted yet here today. Everybody inside the top 5 has boxed. Everybody, for the most part, behind them has, except for Dustin Oberlo, the number 42 machine. He's up 6 spots, still stretching out the legs in that F3 machine. And yes, now Tritton will come down pit road, so we get the opportunity to see what Rettinger can do with clean air on the front of that machine. His fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:59.87. His last time by was pretty much a 2-minute flat, being involved in traffic all the way through. Hunter Graves still about half a second behind Antonio Bianchi. Both drivers really searching for the limit of track there. Tritton makes his way out of pit road, number 26 machine, after less than 6 seconds in that stall. He will come out right behind Bianchi and Graves. As there's great racing all across the track. Ryan Tebow is now behind Varun Patel in the number 99 machine. Not sure if Tebow maybe had an incident, but he's linked up with the teammate in the matching Legos back race machines. Dustin Oberlo comes down pit road for his one stop. As we pan the camera back to Graves, he is gaining ground on Bianchi, the number 17 machine. Less than 2/10 separating the drivers here. did he bin it? It looked like he was about to. Josh Green, Brandon Dewan have both pitted here, the race leaders. Green in and out of a stall in 5 seconds. Dewan has not hit his box yet. Oh, that's a razor's edge between the two drivers, Graves and Bianchi. Graves goes up the inside line. Will Bianchi have the run on the inside here to return the favors? They go side by side. It looks like Graves has a bit of a better run. Oh, what was that? Bianchi gets what just happened as Bianchi's car is absolutely ruined here. Was that Norman King he just got involved with? The number 17 machine all but ruined as he crab walks back down the track. And he will be done. Antonio Bianchi is done. Watch this as they come around the corner. There's somebody having problems. I think that was King. Bianchi takes evasive maneuvers, but unfortunately not a lot of traction in the gravel, and he absolutely drills the wall and gets careened across the track. So Antonio Bianchi will have to return to pit road with an absolute exploded machine. Who would have thought that one? Now look at that, Peter Renger, who has not boxed yet, the number 44 machine, is up into second place, up 8 positions, but he will still have to pit here today with about 6 laps left in the main event, the feature event. Then we will have a short podium ceremony for our top 3 drivers, a bit of a warm-up. And then, if you thought this was hectic, wait for the sprint race tonight. 10 laps, no pit stops, and just wide open action amongst the drivers. We have decimated the field here at Bathurst. Half the field appears to have been retired. Only 12 drivers still remain on the lead lap, as this became a race of survival. Though, to be fair, we kind of knew this was going to be a race of survival. Rettinger makes his way on lap 15 for his one scheduled pit stop. Now it'll be Brandon Dewan to take over the second place spot. Raymond Aguilar, he's about 3.3 seconds behind the number 96 machine. Varun Patel also comes down pit road. So now it's going to be Green, Dewan, Aguilar, Graves, and Trenton, your top 5 here as the pit cycles work themselves out. Aguilar is about 3.3 seconds behind Brandon Dewan in second. We know he has the pace. But will Dewan have the tires? Dewan came to lap 13, Aguilar on lap 9. Or will we see lap traffic play a role tonight as we do with Antonio Bianchi, who just got tagged at the worst possible opportunity? As the field fairly stretched out here at Bathurst, most drivers have about 3 seconds or more between themselves, but that does not mean that our share of carnage is done for this feature event, because now is the point in the track where you, or the race I should say, where you will see driver attrition playing a factor, where some guys will start making mistakes as the tire wear comes back in after they completed that heat cycle. As I get a correction from the crew chiefs, one of the crew chiefs said these drivers will double stint their tires here today, barring any big incidents on track. So they will come in and only take enough fuel to make it till the end, or leaving their original set of tires, unless they are involved in some sort of spin or other shenanigans out on track. As let's check in with your race leader, Josh Green. I'll do one better. Let's go on board with your race leader, Josh Green. And just watch as he charges up the mountainside. He's got the fastest lap of the race, a 1:57.66. A full second faster as far as the leaderboard goes compared to any other driver. Raymond Aguilar clicks off his fastest lap of the race, a 1:58.84. As we all watch in amazement, Green showing us the fast way around. He qualified on pole. He was the fastest in practice, and now he's looking good to pick up another win, barring any instances of misfortune here at Mount Panorama. And I truly hope our viewers at home don't get motion sickness or you enjoy roller coasters. Because if you do get motion sickness or don't enjoy roller coasters, you will not like this onboard. As Green just dancing with those walls here on the mountainside. As right now the current running order is Green, Dwan, Aguilar, Graves, Tritton, your top 5. And I believe Green actually got back from some kart testing here today to run tonight's season finale. After putting in some laps at a local circuit in that kart. We'll pan the camera back to Raymond Aguilar, the number 83 machine. He is second in points. He's about 2.9 seconds back from Brennan Dwan. Going to be interesting to see if Aguilar can close the gap. Now, if he can just finish well, the number 83 machine, he can lock up second in points. And I've been told by Eric Green, Papa of the Green family, that he was testing at Oakland Valley Race Park here today. Seat time is seat time is seat time. Be it go-karts, be it online sim racing. John Kasai, he has a bobble and the number 3 machine, but as we were saying, seat time is seat time. Doesn't matter what you're turning, as long as you're turning laps, you can work on your racecraft. Be it virtually real life, doesn't matter. We're out here to race. As Pit Road tells a story, that is a lot of wadded up machinery here. As we have 12 drivers, 13 drivers still on track, 12 on the lead lap. We check in with Trent, the number 26 machine. He is currently running 5th on track after starting 5th here today. We've got Jonah Oberlo cheering on the Oberlo family. Oberlo is 12th on track, up 6 positions in that number 42 machine. Having a relatively clean race considering the shenanigans and heartbreaks we've seen out here today. As this is 100% a race of survival for a large portion of the field. Oberlo is 1 lap down, but he's out here clicking off laps, making it look easy. As it's almost peaceful when there's less drivers on the track. Everybody gets to focus now on hitting their marks and maybe less so of what's going on around them. And I think this is the point you can really see drivers stretch their legs, and if they are trying to hot lap at this point, despite it being extremely risky when the track is so clear for so many drivers, if you choose to risk it, you can come out here and battle hard and put down those fast laps. Now Patel has his teammate Ryan Tebow behind him in number 27 machine, matching paint schemes. 2 drivers separated by about 3 seconds. Another possible race that may form up here in our closing lap. Peter Redinger, he's about 2.5 seconds ahead of Nick Peterson. Peterson was about a second a lap faster their last time by. So you could see a battle for 6th shape up here. And it looks like Jared Ziegler's going to make his way back out on track. The number 57 machine returning to the circuit. He will be running 11th place, and he will come out right in front of Dustin Oberlo, so we may see a race shape up for that top 11 spot. There comes Oberlo just into frame. So still plenty of time for racing here. And that's probably the best part about calling the events here at the League Zero Formula 3 Series. Doesn't matter where you're out on track, there's usually guys that are around the same pace as you, and it always lends itself to some spectacular racing. Now Bathurst, kind of an oddball thrown in the mix there, as it becomes very much driving and racing against the track, more so than your competition. As Ziegler coming back out on track, burning some laps. Now he knows that a top 5, top 10 is most likely out of reach here. But I think the most important thing for these drivers is as much seat time as they can coming into the feature event, especially for those drivers that were involved in early incidents that maybe didn't get to run a full course, or maybe even not a half. In some cases, drivers not even able to make a full lap. So some of the guys who come out here get as much practice as they can before that final sprint race, which is going to be just all sorts of out of hand. Josh Green making his way down the hill, getting ready to start his final lap here today at Mount Panorama, as he is comfortably 28 seconds ahead of Brennan Dewan. White flag flies here for the feature event. Josh Green looking good to pick up another win. Now Green has not run a full season here today, or excuse me, a full season throughout the duration of this year, but coming out and having fun when he can, when real life racing doesn't interfere with the sim racing. As he will approach Jared Ziegler in 11th to try and get around number 57 machine and put Jared another lap down here. Or a lap down is the best way to say it. This is where Green has to be very careful, though. His last time by, he clicked off another record-setting lap of 1:57.63. But on the mountainside, it's not necessarily your own talent you have to worry about. It's the other drivers and a whole lot of lady luck, as we've seen several parking lot incidents where the track has been completely blocked. Now, I've got to say, though, we got through this main event without a safety car. I'd say that's a pretty good start, as we had 63% of our voters saying that we would definitely see the safety car. 37% saying, nope, it's going to be clean racing all the way through. And then several fans in the chat saying we're going to have more than one safety car. It has been a few races since we had that full course caution, which is just so rare here in the League Zero events. But if there's ever a track combination that can really bring that out, it is tonight here at Bathurst. Green has backed it way off on the throttle, not wanting to risk anything here in the final few turns of the circuit. As he makes his way on the start-finish line straight, put your hands together. Josh Green picking up another win here today. And a flawless race, start to finish. Brandon Dewan, Raymond Aguilar, they're going to make their way down the back half of the track here, in front of the spectator hill. And then they will take the checkers. Dewan will be up one spot from where he started. Aguilar will be down one spot where he started to shake up the top three. And then it'll be Hunter Graves fourth and Brad Trittner round out our top five. But a great run from the guys here today, keeping it relatively clean. We saw half the field go back to the haulers early to try and get ready for the sprint race. But all in all, great race from all of the guys. As the boys will celebrate in style here in typical F3 fashion. as we're going to try and get our drivers up here into the waiting room. You're watching Hunter Graves making his way around. John Kasai will take the finish for his final time. We've got Green, we've got Dwan. Now we're just waiting on Aguilar on the number 83 machine to make his way up. So I don't see Aguilar in a team channel. So we're just waiting on Aguilar, number 83 machine, to make his way up into the podium room. As some drivers can get a little bit more practice before we come to a halt. As it looks like we're not going to get Aguilar. So starting off second place here tonight, Brandon Dewan bringing home second in that number 96 machine. So Brandon, what was the strategy coming into Bathurst and just kind of surviving?
Yeah, surviving was mostly the strategy. I think everybody knew if there's a high likelihood of crashing if you push too hard here. There's not much runoff. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't do as well in qualifying as I thought it would. Was racing Ray for a good bit, but put a good move on him and managed to put a gap on him. I saw him try to go for the undercut, and I think that's probably what got him. He might have gotten stuck in traffic or something. But I also did have some trouble getting into the pits too. I don't know if that was on the broadcast, but I realized with the lap of fuel left that I'd never practiced pit entry.
Well, I guess everybody was too worried about surviving here tonight. But final question, how are you feeling going into this 10-lap reverse grid sprint at Bathurst? I mean, if there's ever a time to really hope and trust lap traffic, or I guess I should not lap traffic your competition, I think now is the time. What do you think?
Yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully it stays clean, but I know it's going to get backed up on the mountain, and all it takes is one mistake from a driver and everything will start to accordion.
Awesome.
We'll see what happens.
Brandon, we wish you the best of luck out there, man. We'll get you ready for this warm-up, and good luck out there, my friend.
Thanks.
And up next, we're going to kind of switch things around a little bit. We got Raymond Aguilar, the number 83 machine, finishing third here tonight, having to run up to the interview room. But Raymond, I know you locked up second in championship tonight, barring anything wild in the sprint race here today. But all in all, a great season. I mean, could you have picked a better and more exciting track to cap off the season?
Yeah, we definitely could have picked a better track for the last race of the season, but we'll leave that one be.
Well, it's definitely exciting. Now, you'll be starting, I believe, 7th for this restart. Do you have a plan to get through the opening laps here, or is it going to kind of be wait and see what happens on the mountainside?
No, we're going to try to hang with Green. It's been pretty hard to do that the last couple of races. He's, the guy's super fast. In fact, when during this last race, when Brandon caught up to me, I knew I had second locked up, and I didn't want to give anything up in terms of speed. So I just cheered him on. I was like, "Let's go, Brandon!" You
just had to tie that in there somehow. I appreciate that. So Raymond, it was a great race all the way through. I mean, Bathurst is this is probably one of the wildest races we've started. Are you expecting to see the safety car come out in this sprint race?
Yeah, I hope so. It really mixes things up, especially in the sprint race when we have such a short amount of laps.
Well, Raymond, thank you for your time, buddy. We're wishing you the best of luck in this season finale sprint race to really cap things off, and it's been a great season talking to you, my friend.
Yeah, awesome. I'd like to thank my race engineer, Tom, Chase, Lindsay, Taylor, Billy, Daphne, Not Fanatec, and Bojangles. Let's go.
Let's go, Bojangles. Raymond, thank you as always, man. Good luck out there.
Thanks.
And up next, the man of the hour, Josh Green, picking up another win after a dominant performance. Green, it looked like things maybe went a little bit cleaner for you guys in the top 5 than some of the other competitors we saw out there.
Yeah, I didn't get to see a lot of the wrecks, but I heard many of them over comms, so I know it was definitely a bit of a danger in the midfield, and I'm interested to see what it's going to be like starting back there for the next race.
Yeah, I'd say you're going to be starting 10th. I mean, it's a lot of trust in both your own ability as well as the other drivers. I mean, are you going to just try and get through the field as quickly as you can, or kind of see what happens on the mountainside?
I think there's definitely some caution here. There's an element of just needing to survive that first lap, and I know I have the pace, so I think I'll be able to drive forward no matter where I end up at the end of the first lap.
Well, Green, I guess my final question for you: you were out on the go-kart track earlier here today. We have your dad, I think it's your dad, Eric, in here tuning in and cheering you on. Do you think that translated all coming out here to Bathurst?
Yeah, it always does. Karting's the roots of everything. It's always learning experience whenever you get to step in a go-kart, so it's a useful skill to have, especially when driving between the walls.
Well, Oakland Valley Race Park, Bathurst, and F3, pretty much the same thing. We'll let you get out there and get a couple more laps for this warm-up and get you ready for the very final race of the season. But, Josh, it's been a pleasure talking to you. When you do get out here to race, before I let you sign off, who would you like to give a shout-out to?
I'd just like to give a shout out to my parents and to Mike Doty Racing for having me in the go-kart today. It's a good time.
Awesome. Josh, good luck out there, my friend.
Thank you.
And that was Josh Green bringing home the win. But up next, we've got a little bit of a surprise for everybody. We got John Kasai joining us in the number 3 machine, our featured driver, Patreon Spotlight guy, and just all-around somewhat likable guy. John, you got a copy?
Hey, thanks, James. Yeah, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Just enjoying a lot of action here at Bathurst. Hopefully we're not interrupting your warm-up session, or maybe you're just happy not to have to turn another few laps for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's good to get a break. I'm pretty nervous about starting on pole for the sprint, though. Not going to lie, I got a lot of really fast guys behind me here.
Well, just think, John, worst case scenario, you crash and ruin all of your friends' night. So other than that, zero pressure coming into tonight. The final race
Exactly.
of the season, all your friends from across the world are watching. We got a huge international crowd. What could go wrong on pole?
Oh, man, a lot. But let's keep our fingers crossed for nothing to go wrong on pole today.
Well, I'm hoping for it as well, hoping the safety car doesn't come out. Now, John, tell our viewers a little bit about you. I mean, some of these guys, some of our fans don't really get to interact with all the drivers. What do you do for a living? Where are you from? What do we need to know about John Kasai?
Cool. So I'm a 29-year-old from Texas. My family owns a propane company here called Propane Depot, and I drive propane trucks and manage the company. Shout out to my mom and dad who are watching tonight. Thanks for tuning in, guys. When I come home from work, I sit down on my sim and I do this. So that's pretty much all you need to know.
Now, what type of sim rig are you running? Are we talking about full-blown quadruple monitors, rotating chassis? You got a single screen and a desk mount? What are we working with?
So no motion, but I'm pretty overkill. I'm running the VRS Direct Force Pro wheel, Phonetic Club Sport pedals. I have a triple screen setup, butt shakers, the whole 9, other than motion, but that's coming. Sorry, wife.
No, we won't tell her. We'll edit this part out in post. No worries, we gotcha. I guess, John, my final question for you, we'll let you go get warmed up and maybe have a breather or whatever you need to do before this sprint race. What attracted you to League Zero in the Formula 3 series at first to come out here and race with all the guys?
Well, man, honestly, I found these guys on Reddit, on the iRacing Reddit, and I got a hold of Antonio, and that was last season, and we did some recruitment races, and I just really fell in love with these guys in this league, and I mean, since then it's been a match made in heaven. Now I'm a steward in the league, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. So.
Well, awesome, John. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for just always coming out here, being a great guy on and off the track, as well as supporting the channel. We truly appreciate you, and we wish you the best of luck in the final race of the season.
Hey, we appreciate you, James. You do a great job, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Good luck, man. And that was Josh Green, our featured driver in the number 3 machine. We're going to run a very quick break, but we'll be right back for the final race of the evening. Don't go anywhere. It is going to be action-packed here at Bathurst. first. Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here at Daytona. The big one is out. And we're going to interrupt our commercial break as the warm-up comes to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, for the final time of the season at the League Zero Formula 3 Series, we're going to send them out to do absolute battle for the sprint race here today. Let's run it very quickly through the grid. On pole, John Kasai, Ryan Tebow starting second, Varun Patel starting third, Nick Peterson starting fourth on the track. We've got Peter Rettinger starting fifth, Brad Tritton sixth on the grid. And then we've got Hunter Graves starting 7th, Raymond Aguilar starting 8th, Brandon Dewan starting 9th, Josh Green starting 10th, and we're going to interrupt our grid because we're going racing already. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go, the final time of the season. The lights will come on and we will do battle here at Bathurst. The engines rev, drivers getting ready. And once again, 23 drivers coming out here today for the season finale. It is a 10-lap showdown. The top 8 drivers score points, and the top 10 of the field is starting in that reverse grid. And we wait for the lights to come on. The very final time of this season. Let's go racing here at Bathurst. And no, we've got carnage already. Ryan Tebow with an absolute terrible start, number 27 machine. The field comes around. Tebow caught sleeping. And this is not the carnage we expected here tonight, as we've got Gustavo Gravina. He goes off track early on. What a mad start, and we're hinting at 3-wide action. That's Brad Tritton, Raymond Aguilar, Peter Rettinger all in the mix here. Up front is John Kasai, Nick Peterson. We got Jeremy Barber asking where the safety car is, and you may see it come out here shortly, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The leaders have won it. It's carnage at Bathurst. Everyone's binned it. It's carnage. There's cars everywhere. Nick Peterson, Raymond Aguilar, Brennan Dewan involved in an absolute heartbreak moment. We got to take a look at that replay as it collected a large portion of the field. We take it on board or take it down to the instant replay to see just what happened. You're watching Varun Patel, the number 99 machine. He's side by side with Aguilar coming up the hill. So many drivers involved in heartbreak already here today. And look, things just go wide, not enough room, and absolute carnage. It looks like that was Patel that maybe got into the back of, I believe it was Peterson. And then the field just starts stacking up here. Look at this, everybody trying to find a way through. But that is exactly the lap 1 incident that we were worried about coming into tonight. Up front, it's still John Kasai. He's ahead by a country mile, 5 seconds ahead of Brad Tritton. In pit road, it's Patel, Peterson, Graves, Aguilar, Dwan, Green, Asianati, and Chase Small all involved in that incident. The safety car did not roll. All drivers took a tow back to pit road. I think there was 2 different incidents here. Let's check and see what happened to Josh Green in his incident. Yeah, there's 2 different incidents. There's another big crash going down the hill. Oh, that is uncharacteristic. Green bends it all on his own. And then more carnage right by him. Hunter Graves involved in an incident. Bruno Fajeda just drills the side of Graves. Absolute carnage here at Bathurst. This is what the fans came to expect. What we did not expect was a nervous John Kasai, seller of propane and propane accessories, running out front 4.3 seconds ahead of Brad Tritton. Jaron Ziegler, he's in third, and he's working hard on Brad Tritton here to pick up a podium, if not a second place, as they run nose to tail down the mountainside. And it looks like Ziegler will pick up a second place spot here after capitalizing on Trenton's mistake. This is absolute carnage here at Mount Panorama. So now it'll be Ziegler trying to work up to John Kasai, who's still 3.8 seconds ahead. Very few, if any, drivers have been able to put down a clean lap here today, as we have quickly whittled the field down to 10 drivers on the circuit. My, oh my, what a night, ladies and gentlemen. So now the question is, will Kasai be able to hold off Ziegler and Trenton? As fastest lap was set by Ryan Tebow, running 5th on track, down 3 spots from where he started. As we get told by one of the racers that the outside of the track has 0 traction on cold tires. A large portion of the track really has poor traction on cold tires. What a wild night here today. Jared Ziegler trying to catch up to Kasai. He was about 1.5 seconds faster than the number 3 machine running out front. Ziegler trying to have the ride of his night here. I believe this will be the last time that Jared races here with the League Zero family. Bruno Fajeda involved in an incident, and who else is that collect? Fajeda having a rough night here. Trying to see who else gets involved in that as Fajeda spins it going down the hill. And let's see who else comes crawling into view here. That was Rettinger, the number 44 machine. Just drills the Brazilian driver. Up front, John Kasai, you can see, no, excuse me, that's on Jared Ziegler. You can see Brad Trenton in tow with Antonio Bianchi linked up as well, just ahead of Ziegler. That's John Kasai, 3 seconds ahead. And I've got to say, for the season finale, it has lived up to expectations. Only a 10-lap sprint. Peter Rettinger comes down pit road after having that incident with Fajeda. Fairchild takes a tow back to pit road. He will be retired for the evening. Greg Lowen, another Aussie racer, loving the Bathurst shenanigans. Aptly called Bloodbath Bathurst here tonight. Rettinger makes his way out of pit road after getting those repairs done. Ziegler still about 2.6 seconds back from Kasai. And not a ton of laps left to do it, as it looked like Ziegler got all sorts of unsettled down the hill, but that's what it takes to go fast here at Mount Panorama, driving on the ragged edge of traction. And look at this, current hard charger on track, Gareth McAllister. No, the second hard charger on track is Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Aussie racer. He's got family tuning as well to support the young driver, sporting the Team Goon Squad colors. He is currently in 6th of 12 spots, just on attrition here today. As current hard charger is actually the Brazilian, Danilo Sparapani. He's up 14 spots, currently running 7th on track after starting 21st, way at the back. as now he has some clean air to capitalize on. Up front, Antonio Bianchi is getting closer and closer to Ziegler. I believe Ziegler may have had a moment that cost him some dear time. As Brad Tritt, the number 26 machine, trying to put the pressure on Bianchi, who's up 10 spots in the number 17 machine. Now we saw a great battle between these two drivers earlier in the night for the feature event, as well as throughout the season. Both drivers really showing what they have. And let's see what happens going up the mountainside. Now Ziegler, he's still about 5.8 seconds back from John Kasai. No, 3.9 seconds back. Oh no, Ziegler's found some time. It's now less than 2 seconds between himself and the number 3 driver, John Kasai. As Ziegler's also about 3.8 seconds ahead of Bianchi. Gustavo has another incident. That number 81 machine tries to safely get back on the circuit, and he will keep things pointed in a forward direction here. As John Kasai knows that Ziegler's coming, the number 57 machine wants nothing more to cap off the season in style. Ziegler's already up 9 spots. Bianchi in third is up 10 spots. As let's see what the lap times tell of the story as Kasai and Ziegler make their way across the start-finish line. Past the halfway mark of the sprint race, Jared Ziegler clicks off his fastest lap of the race, a 1:59.11, but he did have one off track, so that will not give him his fastest lap of the race. But more importantly, he was about 0.8 faster than John Kasai out front. As this will be the battle for the lead shaping up. Kasai's got to hold on for 4 more laps to keep the oval professional behind him. That's Jared Ziegler. Ziegler has 2 wins here this season, once at the Red Bull Ring and once at Monza as well. So he's looking strong to try and at least stay on the podium here today, chasing down Kasai. It has been about, oh no, right as we say it, the commentator's curse strikes again. Ziegler tags the wall. Hopefully not having any suspension damage on that back right of the number 57 machine. That will still, though, keep Kasai just 1.3 seconds ahead of the number 57. So hopefully not too much damage on Ziegler's car here in the closing laps of the season finale. As this is where drivers had to be careful. They see those positions just ahead. In the case of Ziegler, 1.3 seconds. But you got to be careful not to overdrive the car here, not push too much. But that last time by, Ziegler was about 6-7 tenths faster than Kasai. As now the gap is less than a second for the first time here today. Ziegler has picked up the tow from Kasai. Antonio Bianchi back in the background. He's about 3.4 seconds behind this battle for the lead, or what will soon be the battle for the lead. As these smaller field, very stretched out here, only 9 drivers out on track that are still on the lead lap. Everyone else, unfortunately, didn't even make it a full lap around here at Bathurst, as tragedy struck very early on for a large portion of the drivers. And now here's the battle for the lead. Jared Ziegler has caught up to Kasai on the portion of the track that may lend itself to a lot of action, a lot of heartbreak. I'm not expecting Ziegler to make any big moves here, any lunges. He's going to stay right behind the number 3. But if he does not leave enough space, if Kasai has just a single bobble, Ziegler will be involved. Ziegler backs up, slows down the corner to try and get the best amount of drive. And if he's going to set up a pass, this will be the portion of the track where it needs to be done. Or is he going to wait and see what lines Kasai is taking? It's less than 2/10 separating the two drivers. The pace is slowed down. Now Bianchi may be entering the picture. Less than 3 seconds behind as here comes the battle for the lead. Jared Ziegler looks to the inside line. Kasai is going to try and answer. As they go side by side, they make contact, just as we saw earlier. Ziegler gets punted off track. He will have, I assume, a slowdown here. I would be astounded if the number 57 machine did not have a slowdown after what I would consider, that iRacing I think would consider cutting the course. But so far, Ziegler's going to hold on to it. It's the same side-by-side racing incident we saw in the feature event. All the drivers pushing very, very hard here. It does not appear that Ziegler is slowing down at all, so maybe he avoided the off-track. But now it's going to be a 3-car battle for lead as Antonio Bianchi, the number 17 machine, has entered the picture as well. Oh, here comes Kasai trying to make ground up through the mountainside. Ziegler has extended his gap to about 1.5 seconds over the number 3 machine. And now Antonio Bianchi less than a second behind Kasai here. And Bianchi making grounds on Kasai as Ziegler able to stretch his legs on the downhill portion of the track without having to worry too much about other drivers' safety. He will extend that gap very quickly to about 2.8 seconds over Kasai and Bianchi. As they're going to have a battle down the GP portion of the circuit. Bianchi in the all-white number 17 machine. This is the same portion of the track. We saw that incident between Kasai and Ziegler that almost ended in heartbreak for the two drivers. And Bianchi will take over second place securely. John Kasai will settle for third. Now Kasai still about 4.5 seconds ahead of Brad Tritt. So with just 2 laps left to go, looking good for a podium here. But let's see, can Bianchi try and catch up to Ziegler, who now has a 3-second gap over his friend? That's traffic Bianchi's getting around. I think that was Gustavo. Yes, it was. Who's going to be just ahead now of Bianchi, I believe, and Kasai. And this is not a good portion of the circuit to find yourself dealing with lap traffic. As we're on board with Antonio Bianchi, he's running second on track. Now he knows he has to keep this pace going to try and catch up to Ziegler, but I think he's just going to get stuck behind traffic, and he's going to lose almost a full second on the downhill portion of the track to your race leader, Jared Ziegler. And that's also going to allow John Kasai to get in the mix as well if he chooses to. As that may have cost Bianchi any opportunity to try and battle for the lead, as now he's about 4 seconds back from Ziegler. Will Kasai be able to get through traffic quickly and easily as well? Gustavo's going to do everything he can to be predictable for the faster drivers making their way around. And now Brad Tritt is creeping into view as well with 1 lap left to go. The white flag will fly for Jared Ziegler. Bianchi and Kasai running top 3. As Bianchi, I think, won't have enough time left. He's 3.7 seconds back from your race leader, Jared Ziegler, who's trying to win his retirement race here at the League Zero Formula Series. What a wild night. 9 drivers still left out on track after a very early bit of heartbreak for all parties involved. As I'll go ahead and tell you, as soon as we're waiting for drivers to make their way up into the interview room, we will be playing a replay of that lap 1 incident because it was absolutely spectacular. And other than that incident and a couple of other small single driver incidents later on, that's been pretty much it as far as big crashes are to be said. As Ziegler will charge down the hill for the final time here today at Mount Panorama, wrapping up the season here at League Zero. I'm very excited to announce to our fans at home that I did get invited back to broadcast next season every Thursday night live with your favorite open wheel hooligans. So looking forward to another great season with all these drivers. A lot of fun to hang out with these drivers on and off the track. If you want to get in on the action, check them out, leaguezero.net. Just need an iRacing subscription, one car, maybe a few tracks, and the desire to go fast with all of your friends. But put your hands together. Jared Ziegler is going to cap off his going away season with a win here at the sprint race at Mount Panorama in dominant style, over 3 seconds ahead of Antonio Bianchi. Ziegler takes the checkered after a wild night here today. Antonio Bianchi brings home a second, and John Kasai will narrowly brings home a third as Brad Tritton has caught up. Jared Ziegler is going to burn it down in style here today with a massive win. A well-deserved win for the normal oval racing professional. As we're going to get our drivers up into the waiting room to cap off this season. A spectacular race amongst all of our drivers. Very, very proud of how far these guys have come throughout the duration of the season. It's been a lot of fun watching them race, and a lot of spectacular action out on track. Let's take a look at that absolutely gnarly lap 1 incident. That's the word of the day here for my international viewers. Gnarly is the word of the day. Let's speed it up just a little bit and get to the good part. Right as they go up the hill. Absolute carnage for our competitors. That was Varun Patel, I believe, caused that initial incident. Nick Peterson, Aguilar, all involved here. And then we're going to pan to the second incident. Oh, they're still crashing back here. Aguilar getting tossed around like a rag doll. We'll speed it up once more and see what happened to Green, where he crashed in a very inopportune section of the course. What a beautiful shot here at Bathurst. And enhance. And that's Josh Green going for a wild ride. Absolute heartbreak for all parties involved in those opening lap incidents. As we're going to try and get the rest of our drivers up into victory lane. Up first, we've got John Kasai in the number 3 machine, bringing home a third. John, maybe the pre-race show is good luck for you.
Ooh, man, I'm exhausted. What a race. That was crazy. Shout out to Jared. Great driving by Jared. That's just awesome.
I mean, obviously we talked to you right before the race, and we talked about how nerve-wracking it was going to be start on pole. Did you take a deep breath when you saw the entirety of the field get wadded up right behind you?
Man, yeah, when I saw the Delta go to like 3 or 4 seconds behind me on the first or second lap, I breathed a sigh of relief, but I know these guys and I know how fast they are, so I knew that about lap 7 or 8, it would all come back to me, and it did. So I'm just happy to be on the podium for the first time in the season.
Well, things went great for you out there. We know you were quick, nervous, but overall a great way to cap off the season, picking up the podium at an absolute grueling racetrack. A job well done. John, for the final time this season, who would you like to give a shout-out to that's cheering you on from across the world?
Again, shout out to my mom and dad for tuning in, my wife Laura, my son Delta, and everyone else that's tuned in. Oh, and Gareth's grandma. Shout out to Gareth's grandma.
Yeah, the whole
Grandma McAllister.
Yeah, the whole I think it's Bobby is what he calls her. It's a Czech thing, but yeah, shout out to the entire McAllister family. I know they were here cheering you on as well. And John, great job, man. Very proud of you, and looking forward to the next season.
Thanks, man. James, great job, man. See you next time.
Thank you, my friend. Up next, Antonio Bianchi, the number 17 driver, second on track, but first in our hearts. Great run out there, my friend.
Hell yeah, dude. That was so much fun. I'm so happy I was able to like come back after a terrible feature race because I don't know if you guys were following the points, but the battle for, I guess now 5th since Josh hopped both of us. But I was going to say, me and Nick were battling for, there's a 6-point gap going into it. Then we tied in the feature because I got taken out. And then I managed to beat him because he got caught up in that wreck. So that was fantastic. It was fun battling those guys all season.
It looked like a lot of fun all season. I'm looking forward to coming back for next season. What do you think attracts people here to League Zero for the Formula 3 series when they could be elsewhere on the servers? What makes this place so much fun for all the parties involved?
You know what, man? I think it's more just that we try to simulate it similar, or I guess as close as we can to real life Formula 3 racing. We got that unique format with a feature and sprint races, so it's nice having 2 races instead of practicing all week for 1 race just to get taken out on lap 1, turn 1. So that's definitely a big help, as well as I guess that we got like the team aspect and everything. So it makes it a lot of fun. We also got a good community of guys out here as well. And now we got a great broadcaster as well. So lots of fun for sure. So I'm hoping that keeps attracting more people here and we can field 30 cars.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Now, I guess my final question, we're getting ready to head off the off season. We know we have some fun races scheduled up, but what are you going to do to unwind? As I know being a racer, an admin, a steward is all sorts of exhausting.
Well, we have about 10 protests sitting here in a pile on the good old steward desk. But after that, I probably going to take the week off next week because we got nothing here coming up. So that'll be nice. And then, yeah, I don't know. Just, I guess, come back next. I guess when are we back? January. So it should be hopefully a lot of fun there. I'm just going to try my best to, try and practice in the car a little bit at least so you don't lose the touch. But other than that, man, just chilling out. That's going to be the best part about the off season. No pressure anymore.
Right on, Antonio. Great run tonight. Great run all season. It's been a pleasure being here for the very final time of the season. Who would you like to give a shout out to here today?
Well, definitely a big shout out to Russell Soto. That was awesome. I know you won the championship there because Raymond wasn't able to clinch or get those 47 points. So shout out to him, man. He's been a great teammate all season. Also, shout out to the guys that have been racing with pretty much all season. Jared, Nick, Hunter, Ryan. Those guys have been a blast. Great season. Looking forward to next. So also big thanks to you, man, for broadcasting. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Antonio, thank you for having me. Congratulations on a second here tonight and all around a fantastic season.
Thank you, sir.
And up next, the man of the hour, Jared Ziegler in the number 57 machine to cap off your retirement run here, picking up the win and what was a absolute carnage fest out here at Mount Panorama.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know any other way to describe it. I mean, I got clipped in that first incident in the cutting. I got clipped by Raymond, who came back across the track. There was nothing he really could have done. He had no tires on the car, so nothing he could have done. But I got clipped by him. I thought that would end it. Josh decides, I wouldn't say decides, but Josh wrecks it right in front of me, right in a dipper. I thought I wrecked it there. and then later in the race with John, I thought we were gonna wreck it there. So I'm just lucky to survive, and I had the pace at least. So yeah, it sucked for the feature race, but at least being able to come out on top for the sprint race was really good.
Well, Jared, do you have finger imprints in your wheel after tonight, or how much pressure will you put on yourself and your hardware after this one?
I can tell you my right hand is gonna be sore tomorrow from how much I was gripping the wheel. I told John I was pushing so hard to trying to catch him towards the end there. It was like I was gaining on him pretty well, and I had a steady gain, and then he got faster or something at the end. So I had to push just slightly more, and I hit the wall pretty hard right before Forest Elbow, which is the one coming down the hill, the last corner coming down the hill. I hit the wall on the right side pretty hard, so I thought that oh no, this isn't gonna be good. And luckily damage wasn't too bad, and was still able to catch up to him. But yeah, it was my hands are gonna be sore.
Well, Jared, a fantastic run, a lot of fun season. It's always seeing you a good time seeing your race, whatever you decide to hop in a week out. And again, I know you're retiring, but this has got to be a pretty positive way to cap things off after the season.
Absolutely, I'm glad I can come out on top for team. Mustard Seed, I don't know what it's called. I don't know if it's Mustard Seed Motorsports. I honestly don't know my own team name, so that's not good. Mustard Seed Formula Team. So thanks to them, thanks to Norman being my teammate all season long. Sucks for him. He had a pretty horrific feature race and decided to park himself for the sprint. So it sucks to see that happen. But to come out, I believe I have 3 or 4 wins in this series. So I was able to give them first wins, and hopefully it's not going to be the last one tonight. But come out on top with them. It's a pleasure to have. So thanks to everyone on that team, and thanks to everyone for in this league, for ownership, admins, stewards, however you want to call them, and youth broadcasting. It's been fun. Can't wait to watch this one back, see how crazy it really was.
Yeah, not to toot my horn, it was a pretty good one here today. So, Jared, man, it's a great time talking to you as always. Definitely a hard-fought win, and congratulations on an all-in-all great season representing you and your team well, and we wish you the best of luck and success in whatever car you hop in.
Thank you very much. You have fun here, and maybe I'll hop into a race or two or something as a part-time driver.
Worse, we'll drag you into the booth with me.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I'm not ready for that much of a retirement party yet.
All right. Well, Jared, have a good one, my friend. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, will do it here for the season finale of the League Zero Formula 3 League. We saw great racing, we saw spectacular crashes, and we saw an absolute parking lot here in the sprint race at Mount Panorama. As always, sincerely, thank you to our fans from across the world who tune in, support the broadcast, support their racers, and support their league for the final time of the season. On behalf of LeagueZero.net, as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next season. Have a great night, everyone.